Now let's take a look at how we can use custom properties with responsive designs. This is obviously something that we always want to be able to do. We want to make sure that our websites are responsive. You can define custom properties for all sorts of things: font sizes, padding, margins, colors, and then you can adjust these values based on the screen size to create a responsive design. So let's take a look. Here's the page that we're going to be working on. It currently has a header. It has a main area that has these two cards that we're using. And then we have an aside-based content with just a heading and some paragraphs. And then we have a footer. So the page is pretty simple. But as my page gets wider, you can see that the layout is not looking very good. And it certainly is not optimizing the amount of space that we have. So let's adjust our page so that the design is responsive. Currently, the layout looks okay at the small screen size, but as my page increases and gets much wider, it doesn't really work quite so well. So what I'd like to do is, once my page is wide enough to support having the cards appear side by side, I would like them to appear next to each other. And once my page gets really wide, I want both the cards and the aside content to all sit side by side. So let's take a look at how we can incorporate this into our layout. I'm going to go into my CSS. Currently, I'm using a number of custom properties that we are using throughout our project. If you want to see where these are coming from and how I'm using them, you may want to review some of the previous exercises as I break this down in detail in those exercises. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make some custom properties that will help us with our responsive design. So I'll just go ahead and make a new section up here, and I'll call this responsive. Then we'll create some new variables. Some of the things that I will need are values that I can already use. I'm going to be using my spacer and perhaps my spacer double. I don't need to redo those. I am going to go ahead and make a variable for grid columns. I'll start off by setting this to 1FR, and then I'm going to make another variable. I'm going to set this to aside width. Initially, this is going to be set to 100%. All right, that's all I think we need to start off with. Now, as you can see, when my page is small, I don't really need to do anything because I built this page out to be mobile first, so everything just appears in one column. But as my page increases a little bit, I want my cards to sit side by side. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom portion of my page, and we'll begin by creating a media query. In regards to the value that you're going to assign for min width, you're going to want to set a value where your layout starts to break. So what I usually do is I'll analyze my layout and I'll look at my page at a small screen size, and then as I increase the page size, I can start to see where the layout starts to falter. It is helpful to use your developer tools to be able to see what the width of the current page is. So I'm going to go ahead and open my developer tools. One of the easiest ways you can access your developer tools is to simply right-click on your page, and you can choose Inspect in most browsers or something similar depending on the browser you're using. I'm currently using Chrome, so I'm going to use Inspect, and it's going to open up the inspector. I will dock my developer tools to the bottom of the page so that they won't be as obtrusive. Now I can make my page wider, and if I have this little icon checked, this will toggle the device toolbar. So you can see what your page is going to look like at the small screen size, and our page currently looks fine at a small screen. But as I increase my page size, the layout starts to not work quite so well. So I'm going to make a media query that is around 600 pixels, and then we'll open the curly braces, and then we can start to build our media queries for this condition. What I'm going to do to start off with is I'm going to target my section.cards, and if we look above, section cards currently only has a margin of double spacing for the top and the bottom and auto for the right and the left. We're going to add some additional rules down here. So we're going to go ahead and change our display to flex. We're going to add a gap and I will go ahead and use my spacer variable, and then I'm going to go ahead and set a overall width of 80%. If we simply save and refresh, as long as the size of my page is wider than 600, you can see that these two cards are going to sit side by side. The rest of the content is still going to appear in one column, which I think works fine for this simple page. So here, my page is one column, and as soon as I hit my breakpoint, it will switch to the two-column view. Now, at some point, the layout is going to need to be revised in a similar fashion. So I'm going to determine where that breakpoint needs to be. And in this case, I think 900 is probably a good space. So I'll just go ahead and make another media query here. And in this media query, we're not going to just be controlling the cards, but we're going to be controlling the various sections of our page. So if we analyze our page, we basically have four main areas. We have the header, we have main, and that contains our two cards, which are in a section, and then we have our aside and our footer. So these are the four elements that we're going to be using. I will be using grid to be able to make these appear in the appropriate way. Before we go ahead and add some media queries into our min width of 900 pixels, let's go up to the body section, and we're going to add a couple of rules here. This, of course, is going to affect our page at the mobile first view. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my display to grid, and I'm going to set my grid template columns to use my new variable called grid calls, which, as you recall, is set to 1FR. Let's also go ahead and specify a gap, and we'll just give this a value of spacer. If we refresh our page, not much has really changed, and that's because we're still using this mobile first approach. Now that we have this in place, though, we don't have to turn on the display and make it display grid in our media query. So let's go into our media query. We're going to go ahead and we're going to redefine some of the variables that we're using, and we'll create a new variable. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to set grid calls, and we're going to go ahead and give this a value of 2FR and 1FR. So we're going to create a grid that has two columns. It will have a first column that takes up about 2/3 of the space, and the second column will take about 1/3 of the space. Once I have this in place, now I can go about readjusting the elements on the page. Now our grid is going to be set to this multi-column grid. If we refresh the page, as long as the page is wider than 900 pixels, you can see that it is taking advantage of this new grid, but not in the way that we want. So clearly the header, which is the first child of body, is taking up this 2/3 or 2FR area, and then main, which is the next area, is taking up 1FR. And obviously these other elements are having to wrap because they don't have room. So let's go ahead and let's fix this by going into these various elements. I'll start off by targeting header. And what we're going to do here is we're going to use the grid column property. I'm going to use 1/span2. What this means is that the first value is specifying the starting column for the item, and the second value is specifying how many columns that item should span. So we're saying start at column 1 and span 2 columns, which is exactly what we want. We can actually just use a group selector and have the same thing occur on footer. So if I refresh my page, you can see that now the page is actually looking pretty good because the header and the footer are spanning the entire width. Our main section is taking up 2/3 of the available space, and the aside is taking up 1/3. As we resize our page, those elements are going to grow until they aren't able to anymore. Now this is looking pretty good, but there is some additional space here. As you recall, on our section, we had made the width 80%, and that is something that we used in the media query at min width of 600 pixels. I need to override that. I'll make a new rule for section.cards, and I'll just go ahead and specify that the width be 100%. Now when we refresh, the space is being used a little bit more optimally, and our page is looking the way we want. Now, of course, when our page gets quite a bit wider, you can see that we do have some unwanted spacing. My cards are getting too spread out, and this section of our page is probably getting too wide. So once again, I just need to determine where the layout starts to break, and it seems like maybe this isn't the best layout for these two card elements. Let's go ahead and adjust those. The reason that these are being spaced out is, if you recall, we had previously made a rule on our articles, and we had set a margin of auto. This is no longer working at our large screen size. We don't want these to spread out within the available space, but I'd rather have them stay closer together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the media query, and I think we can actually do this in our 600 pixel media query. Let's go ahead and use .cards article, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to set our margin setting, and we'll just make this our spacer variable. If we save now and we refresh, you can see that the cards stick together and they're going to look much better. We do get a little bit of too much spacing between our two cards and our aside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just give this area a maximum width. So I'll come in to my media query for the 900 width, and we're going to go ahead and target main, and let's just give this a maximum width of 700 pixels. And we're going to do something similar on our aside. We'll give this a max width of 300 pixels. If we save our page and we refresh, you can see that once my page gets wider, these no longer are going to grow. And now all we need to do is just ensure that they stay together. So I'm going to come into each of these, and on the main, we're going to use a margin left of auto. And on aside, we'll use a margin right of auto. And that should ensure that any extra space is going to go onto the left and the right. So these areas will now stay in the center of our page, while the other areas of our website are going to simply grow as needed. So this is just a quick example that shows you how you can use variables within your media queries. Sometimes you may need to redefine some of the values for the variables, which is easy enough to do. You just do that within the media query. And of course, you can always access any of your global variables by using the techniques that we have studied previously.